I am K Dinesh. I am one of the co-founders of Infosys. Happen to be with other 6 founders. They chose me also as to be part of the team. Thankful to them. As you all know, Infosys is a global company, and that is part of the dream that we had. Our vision was to be creating a globally respected company. That was in 1981, under the leadership of Mr. Murthy and other 5 founders with me. So that's what we said we will do, and we are in the process of moving towards that journey. It's a long journey. And we have reached good milestones there thanks to all the people who are behind it. So it's a good thing that the journey was started in 1981. I was only 26 years old, 27 years old when Infosys was started. 81 is when Infosys was founded, along with 6 other people under the leadership of Mr. Murthy, and that is when Infosys started in 1981. It means a lot to me. Infosys means a lot to me. It stands for the greatest quality that it can produce, global reach, and providing particularly for a country like India, its aspiration to achieve global respect it needs to in many different spheres. I'm talking about in 1981, this was all there, but to prove that it can be done from a company like 7 people who founded with 10,000 rupees was the dream that we had. The 7 of us who came together, of course, many others joined us. Many great leaders joined us in that journey. But the key thing is, for a company which was founded almost from scratch with very little money, the only asset we believe we had was, the intellectual ability to do what we want to conceive and do. That was very important. So how do I say that? I used to tell people that if there are 2 people who agree all the time, one of them is not required. So we need to have people who have a healthy disagreement. And which means if there are 2 people who disagree all the time, both of them are not required. So we need to have healthy disagreements to achieve what we need to do so that the best is done for the purpose of the company. Company comes first. Towards that, healthy disagreements are very, very important, and respecting those disagreements as we go along and making the course correction is very, very important. So we had 7 of us who founded, but we all had a common set of values, the middle class values. All of us came from middle class. My father was a high school headmaster. Murthy's father was a high school headmaster. Nandan's father was a manager in a textile mill. Raghavan's father was a lighthouseman. And Shibulal's father was a small agriculturist in Kerala. Gopal Krishnan's father was again a small businessman in Kerala. And Ashok Arora's father was a bureaucrat in central government. So we all came from middle class aspirations. So what is middle class aspiration? We talked about it when we were founding. Murthy used to talk about all of this and tell us that the middle class aspiration is we want to have a good night's sleep. When we go back home, we have done everything right so that we can have a good night's sleep. And when you get up in the morning, the first thing you think is, when you come out, you want to be respected for what you have done in the previous day or that day you will do. So with that in mind, we said we will build the most globally respected company, though we were starting from India with 10,000 rupees as the capital, but our aspiration was very, very high. So keeping these healthy disagreements to ourselves and sorting out those issues, when those disagreements came, was a very healthy way we believe we built Infosys. So to me, innovation is very, very important. So you ask me, what are the things that has contributed to the success of Infosys? These disagreements would, kindle a spirit of innovation in every aspect of what we needed to do, be it customer, be it employees, be it our society in general. Everywhere we would apply these things to make sure that a new way of building excellence was being built day by day, month on month, year on year, so that we are building a great company. The history of Infosys and the way it was built, you can find all of these things there in the actions that have been taken. To me, the foundations that we believe we laid and we believed in were clearly the C-Life, C-L-I-F-E, the words. So customer delight is very, very important for us, is one core value that we always, built into all our actions. The focus was on customer, and customer comes first. And then L is leadership by example. We need to lead by example. We can't just be telling others that this needs to be done. The people have to lead by setting the next example. Then I is integrity. We need to have very high integrity in all our actions. And F is we need to be fair to all the stakeholders in our business, be it customers, be it investors, be it employees, be it society. All of them need to be treated fairly in all our transactions. And E is excellence. We need to build execution excellence into every action that we do. So these were the 5 core values, I believe, which we believed in, and we drove towards building these values in all our systems, process and actions. When Infosys was formed, and our first client we found was in US, Data Basics Corporation. In Tampa, Florida, we had to go for a project. And believe me, I had not traveled by air at all in my life. And that was the first flight I was taking from Bombay to Frankfurt to New York, and from New York you have to change the flight and go to Tampa, Florida. And someone who has not traveled by air at all, this is a long journey, time difference. I did not know any of these things. Believe me, I did not know how to wear a tie. And believe me, I did not know how to buckle the seat in the plane. I had never traveled. This is in 1981, 26-year-old. And I grew up in rural areas. I was born in Sagar, Shivamogga district in Karnataka, and grew up studying my primary school in Arsikere. And then I went to Nelamangala to do my middle class. And from middle class, I went to high school in Magadi, all rural areas, wherever my father was getting transferred. And from there, from Magadi, I did my PUC, came to Bangalore to do my BSc, all Kannada medium, mother tongue. And now this guy is traveling to US. So then people ask me, what confidence did you have that you can do it? One is my colleagues who were there, more experienced and more knowledgeable than me, who would give me all the support that is required whenever I needed. But people ask me, summarize your experience of last 40 years, how will you summarize? I tell them A, B, C, Ds of my life. You heard it right? A, B, C, D, Es. I'm son of a teacher, so I make it easy for you guys to remember. A stands for adventure. You need to be adventurous. Ships are safest in the harbor. That's what Murthy used to tell. But that's not where they're supposed to be. They're meant to be sailing all the time. You agree, right? So A is adventure. You need to be adventurous. B is you have to believe in yourself. If you can believe that you can do, that is the Infosys story, that we can build such an organization. So we believed in that. Each one of us believed and said we will do. C is character. You need to build character in the journey that you take. Character can be lost overnight, but character can't be built overnight. So you have to build step by step every day. That is where the ABCDs, the C is, though it comes in the third, but that is very important. C is important. D is you need to dream big. We could have dreamt and said we'll build the best company in India when we were there in India, and that is where our focus was. But we said we'll build a globally respected company. If we had not dreamt that big, I don't think this video would have been recorded. As simple as that. So I'm glad that we dreamt big without worrying about how it will happen. That is the beauty. So the dream is there for educated, uneducated. Dream is there for people who are rich and poor. Dream is there for rural areas, rich guys and the city guys. Everywhere, the same dream. But why be a conjuice? Means why stingy about dreaming? So we dream big. That's very, very important. So A, B, C, D, A, adventure, B is belief, C is character, D is dream big, and E is execute with excellence. Yesterday night you dreamt very well, that is it. Next day onwards you have to go and work on the dream and make it happen. So these are the 5 letters that, I would say that makes me remember about my 40, 45, 50 years of journey. Now, one thing that Infosys is very well doing today is, its focus on technology. So technology is evolving. That has always been the focus of Infosys since 1981. Our value addition in this space that we chose will come through technology, and as technology evolves, our strategy to address the solution capabilities that we offer to our clients has always evolved very fast, and that is the strength of Infosys. And its focus on global clients to make sure that we are serving their needs is equally important. That has not changed at all, and very happy that those things are happening very well. At one time, of course, when I look back, 100% of our revenue was coming from only one geography. But today it is reasonably well spread in multiple geographies. And being a company which has to earn the global respect, so we are focusing on clients from all over the world. So that I'm very happy that is happening. And the other thing that I'm very happy about is the scalability of what we do, and adapting to new situations as we go along as quickly as we can, is its resilient nature of what we need to do is very, very important. And that also, I'm very happy that is happening. So Infosys is seen as a leader and will continue to be seen as a leader is something that, we need to be proud of, and we need to work on. When we used to visit the ancestral place, so one fine day in July 1969 or so, if I remember correctly, and maybe July 19th or 20th, I don't remember exactly. And I was jumping with joy, and people were asked, why are you jumping with joy? I was having a newspaper, Kannada newspaper, Prajavani, and man has landed on moon. Manushya Chandran mele hogi kaalittidane. That is what in Kannada that was there. Those of you understand Kannada. So then they said that they were laughing at me. They were laughing at me. What? Man has landed on moon? How can you believe that? Because their belief was that how can man land on moon? Moon is supposed to be a sacred god. You can't. In their beliefs, which is correct. But somehow being little science-minded, it didn't gel with me. So I again questioned, but they said no. So then I didn't know whether the news was right or what they are saying is right. So I came back and asked my father, who was a high school headmaster, science teacher. He said, no, man has landed on moon, 2 people have landed on moon. So you have to go with that. That's correct. So then, if I had believed what they had said at that time, what would have happened? This video would not have been there. I would not have been there for this video. As simple as that, right? And then, believe me, that's not the end of the story. The story begins there. And almost about 40 years later, or 45, 50 years later, I happened to have lunch or dinner with the same guy who had landed on moon in New York. Only regret I had was how I could have had that on the top of moon. That is the only regret I had, but I had it in New York. Ed Aldrin was the astronaut who had landed on moon, and I was lucky enough in some conference I was talking to him. My question was, the first 9 or 10 Apollos had failed or did not take off, and you were going. And what made you think you will succeed? And you may not return, right? So then his answer was very, very, very profound. His answer was very simple, that we were trying to see, the man has not seen the possibilities in space and in moon. And we were paving the way for that. And we were sure our mission control had done everything for us to return back. We had full faith in them. And that is why we were taking, so that we become the pioneers in that journey. And that's what, is very important. Infosys journey is about pioneering in areas where others had not treaded, and we needed to do this from India. And these 7 ordinary guys who had no money can come together and do. Many more things can happen from India. That was the dream, in a way, that was being said when Infosys journey was being done. It's still a long journey.